Hi everyone, welcome to Baker Street, April 2024. Can't believe where the year's going. We've got daylight outside. It's here. My name's Z Razak, unlocking your financial freedom journey. Check out the content today. We're going to be going downstairs and we're going to get the interview for the people that count to help you on your property journey and your entrepreneur journey. So I hope you're ready for the show. Hi everyone, my name's Z Razak. As you probably know, unlocking your financial freedom journey. Today we've got a guest come from the Midlands, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
He's quite well known in the property world and he's going to give us some insights on his journey and what he's doing now. Tom, we're just speaking beforehand. You've been involved in property how many years?
I've been involved in the construction industry for like about 10 years.
Wow.
I've been in property development for about 2.5 years because property development
is very different to
very
investment.
different to investment, yeah. So it's very different to the commercial side.
And it's also trying to get obviously knowledge and understanding totally different because it's a trading business from a tax perspective. Total different aspects around it.
Exactly.
So what kind of developments did you do to start insight to the UT family?
We were doing, the company I worked for before, I was doing commercial projects that we were converting into HMOs.
Wow, so commercial resi?
Yes.
In the Midlands?
Yeah, in the Midlands.
Wow.
We were doing a lot of flips up in the north. We're doing a lot of flips in the south, a lot of flat conversions.
Wow.
The owner obviously built a huge portfolio. He's still going.
And you were running it for him as well, so
I was a big part of the business, you know, but I just wanted my own freedom, my own time. I had a little girl. And I wanted to step back from that and create my own little world, essentially, which I've done. So I've created a planning consultancy called Property Planning Consultants. We're on Instagram.
And what areas do you? Because planning is so huge.
We have to cover nationwide.
Which areas do you specialise in your planning consultancy?
So we work a lot with investors because we create specifications, we create all the drawings, all the structural, all the contracts to work with the builders.
Wow,
so
the JCT contracts?
Yeah, it's basically all around a new investor.
Wow.
So an investor that needs somebody to hold their hand and work through the process and have a consultant standing by their side that can say, that's not quite right, change that. And this is how you do it. So I've tried to create a concept that works away from any other planning consultancy, because all planning consultancies are very formal. Yeah. It's all very written. A builder can't interpret what a planning consultant wants, whereas as a developer I can interpret for the clients. So it creates I've tried to go into sort of a niche. I don't want to be in the big pool of planning consultancy, you know, because there's probably a fair few of them in the room right now. Yeah. I want to be in my own little niche, in my own little corner, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm working towards.
It's so important, the niche. Like we specialise in property tax, finance, accounting, and understanding that leverage, SaaS pensions.
And again, with that, I literally one day, a couple of years ago, I pulled over at the side of the road, believe it or not, in the countryside, because there was a sign outside a house, swing sign, in the country, big house, that said property tax specialist. And you know what? They're so hard to come by that you are in a niche.
It's quite intense because the things are changing at a rapid pace.
Yep.
And it's understanding how property investment, property development, what that means, how to finance it end to end,
the VAT,
the VAT run, you know, the VAT, the corporation tax, income tax, capital allowances potentially, all the write-offs that you can do, and how do you structure that journey?
Yes.
Because many people don't understand. How do I extract money from it? What's my exit strategy looking like? What's my acquisition strategy? And this is so important.
A lot of people, they have a bookkeeper. They don't have a tax advisor. It's a very different thing.
I think there's a difference bookkeeping. That's like your foundations. Then you have accountancy, which is quite important.
Sorry, what I'm trying to say is a lot of people have an accountant that is a bookkeeper.
It's true.
It's not a tax advisor.
No, there's a big difference because you need to know both and you need to understand how leverage works.
Of course.
Because if you don't understand all the different sources of finance, how can you advise someone's journey? And it just doesn't stop there. These days, to differentiate, you have to understand pensions. Yep. It's a bit like when you're instructing and looking at the planning, which is another important service because the gain. The gain's done on acquisition, as the guys were saying. You know, I have a lot of chats with Ranjan, Andrew, John, and loads of other people who are prominent in the property world. and they want to understand how they portray what information, because people don't realize knowledge is power.
Always.
And that's where you're added so much value.
And that's the aim. The planning consultancy is strictly to add value to investors.
So what we'll do, what's the name of the planning consultancy?
So it's Property Planning Consultants.
Property Planning Consultants.
It's on Instagram. If you tag it in,
no problem.
Give me a follow.
We'll put a like and comment. We'll put this post across the whole social media.
Thank you.
Tag you in, please like, comment. Perfect.
Thanks,
That's
guys.
what we love, adding value to the entrepreneur journey. You need people from the different professions to help you. And we always say, I know John Howard, if he's watching, doesn't like it, but power teams are important, because if you don't have this, you're going to lose money. That's where money's made, through knowledge and the right people to associate.
True.
And as he gentleman mentioned here, he said he pulled over to get that expertise, because that's the difference. Especially if you're trying to make margins on the GDV, which is gross development value, you need to know what you're doing. Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Hi everyone, at Baker Street, April 2024, with Ranjan. He's going to give us some insights on the episode. We're always unlocking your financial freedom journey. Ranjan, today was all about scaling the property portfolio.
Yes.
And I always put a smile on his face so you know he's working. Right,
Yes.
Ranjan, what's the tips about scaling? Because there's so much value that you guys gave out. Can you give it a hint to all the audience about how should they go about scaling?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about it is a case of go big or go home. There's no place for the small investor anymore. It's treating property as a business. And if you're going to get big, then it is about having a systems and method to your madness. Otherwise, it will be complete madness.
I think one of the people on the board panel today was talking about systems, and
Yeah.
I advocate those big time,
Yeah.
because people don't realise if you learn, you need to put processes in place
course.
in any business,
Yeah.
otherwise you're not going to scale, it's just going to fall over,
Yeah,
because if
yeah.
it's just reliant on you.
Yes, yes.
The other bit I wanted to ask is, you talked about AI, which is massive, and we're doing a lot of stuff on AI at the moment. How have you used AI, which is artificial intelligence, in your business and property journey that you're obviously still on?
Well, I haven't used it in property as such, but I've used it in other parts of the business, such as particularly for email management. We're looking
Right.
at putting in some chatbots now.
Wow.
On the property management side,
Wow.
to answer a lot of tenant queries, because so many of them are very, very similar. So that can really help if you can answer 80% of the questions.
That's amazing.
It's very, very powerful.
So you're using the property management. Are you going to do it on any sourcing, securing deals, or anything like that?
It can be done, although I haven't looked at yet, because I mean our sourcing is still very much relationship, because it's not formulaic properties, because the data-led approach can probably work for residential a lot more. If I'm looking for a 3-bedroom terrace, I need a certain square footage, it needs to be not in an Article 4, then I can make an HMO out of it. If it's commercial, no one tells you in the brochure, this is what you can do with this property. It's up to you, to using your knowledge, to decide how much value you can create. So with commercial, it's still very relationship driven in terms of the sourcing.
As always, Ranjan gives us so much value, and he's told us some really important insights, how to use AI and these things, because these are going to become more prominent. We're seeing it constantly on our business, especially if you've got a trading business, and I'm sure the property businesses, whether developers, investors who are savvy to scale, they're going to start using it a lot more, aren't they, going forward?
And I hear there's a AI tax advisor accountant coming out next week, isn't there?
I don't know, but all I know is you can't beat the real McCoy, as Ranjan knows, right? Because if you don't have human intelligence working with AI, you get rubbish in, rubbish out. And that's what happens, because AI by itself is nothing. It needs human intelligence to make it think. That's my opinion anyway.
Absolutely.
But what do I know?
Absolutely.
Just a little bit things here and there. Ranjan, thank you
Good to
so
see
much.
you.
Gotta love it. Hi everyone, we've got the charismatic Andrew here, and he's going to give you some insight on his major talk in April 2024 at the Baker Street Property Meet, which I actually missed and I'm really gutted. So we are going to hear it as I'm hearing it, and I'm going to try to get some value, because he loves giving value, as we all know. Andrew.
Z, thank you very much.
And you know we love unlocking financial freedom. That's what we're all talking about. Can
Well, we
you
need
explain?
to get a bit of financial freedom for you, to free
Love
you
it.
up from the office. He's telling me it's VAT quarter end, it's
Oh, so much.
accounting year end,
I'm
month
sure.
end.
I'm sure the audience don't want to hear my stresses. They want to hear this man's value. Andrew, what was the
thank you.
headlines today that you gave so much? Because there's been so many things talked about.
Arrears and
Arrears.
repossessions.
Wow, big area.
Really great opportunity here, especially if you're flipping property, because I'll link that in a minute. Arrears and repossessions. Buy-to-let landlords in quarter 4 of 2023, 500 landlords were repossessed by the bank.
Wow.
That is 56.5% up on the same quarter 12 months earlier.
So, just quick question on that. Really good point. On the repossession, is that after the 3 months they got them out, or was it more an extended time? I
It
guess it's
takes a period of time to
Yeah,
get
because
them out.
normally it used to be 3 months, but they became a bit more relaxed because of the 2008 or all the headaches that caused. Is it
you're a
still 3
business.
months?
You're a business.
Perfect. So after 3 months, they haven't paid.
As a landlord, you're a business. There's no support from the government.
Perfect.
So that's the first thing. Then when we look at the next bit of data, we've got 13,500 landlords who are 2.5% or more of the value of their mortgage in arrears. Now, if I compare that to 12 months earlier, that is 126.4% up on 12 months earlier. So what we're seeing is arrears are growing and repossessions are growing. Now, if you're into the property flipping strategy, buying repossessed properties, because typically, in my experience working at a bank, repossessed properties tend to be left in a poor state. They couldn't afford to maintain the property, and often they trash it just in spite.
I don't want to break his flow, but I've just worked in their head what he said about 2.5 times. If there's a 25-year mortgage, that means 4% every year. I know I'm doing it 2.5% of the 4%. That's telling me 6 to 8 months in arrears. That's quite a lot. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
That means they're right for the picking, right? In the nicest possible way.
There's a lot of stressed sellers out there or stressed landlords out there.
Wow,
But
huge
where
value.
it comes into the flipping marketplace is tonight I've shared, and if you follow Property with Andrew, you can follow this data on there as well, because I'll put the charts up there for you.
We'll add it to the links below when we do this post.
But the data is showing that the sales market is hotting up.
Yeah.
Now, how do I know that? The prices of houses being sold is rising, and the movement from buyer's market to seller's market has started. I've shown the heat map showing just exactly how and where in the country. If you're in Wales, you're currently a boiling frog. The market is that hot in South Wales.
Right.
So
I'm actually in Wales next week, but I'm apparently going there first time. In the presentation, I've been invited.
you're
So it's
going to be a
interesting.
boiling frog next week.
There's a lot of property entrepreneurs who want to know about SaaS pensions over there.
There you
Right. Wow. Okay. So Wales, hot point, and you think this change is
Now,
already
I
happening?
wouldn't recommend going into South Wales to do flipping strategy for the simple reason the market is already hot. What I'm seeing is the markets are warming and getting hotter. The reason I reckon now is a good time is, number one, I demonstrated earlier that interest rates are not going to be rising anytime soon, because we in the UK mirror and match what happens in the USA.
We have to.
And if we step out of line, our exchange rate differs, and that causes us other issues as an economy, and inflation then runs out of control again. So we will be matching what America's doing. So interest rates are higher for longer.
Yeah.
Now, if I bought a property now, this month, by the time I get through legals, it's probably the end of July. If I'm flipping it, let's say 3 months to get this on the market, I'm coming to market around October, November time. At that time, interest rates will have had at least their first drop. If their first drop is happening around that time, the buyers and the house prices, which we're seeing warming up, will have continued. So you'll have got in at a low price and risen with the market and added value, so you get double bubble.
So I want to ask a couple of questions. That's huge value, Andrew, as always. You've got the residential you've explained. What's happening in the commercial market?
Commercial markets, prices are on the floor. What we're seeing is there's a large amount of very, very large buildings coming to market at very, very cheap prices. So
When you say large buildings, give us square footage that you're looking at.
minimum 30,000 square foot out to over 100,000 square foot.
Wow.
These buildings previously have not been on the market. They've been sitting on them for some time to evaluate the direction of travel. Because the market is on its ass, nobody is looking to take office space. These buildings are becoming available.
And because of new PD rights, you can do stuff that you couldn't
With
do
the
before.
new PD rights, with
Wow.
no upper limits.
What about the smaller one that wants to get a small commercial? Is there
This-
any opportunities there, or?
The small commercials still have opportunities, but what you are seeing is there are more people in that space in the market.
Give us a range of numbers, what you think.
I would say
0 to
95% of people in commercial conversions or commercial property, entrepreneurs in a room like
Yeah.
this, are in that smaller.
0 to 1 million, 0 to half a million, or 0 to 2 million?
It really depends on your area as
Got
to
it.
the price.
Fair point,
That's
fair point.
what I would say. I mean, anything up to sort of 3-4 million is quite competitively fought for. Above that, there isn't really much competition.
And we've heard that from a few people. Andrew, as always, huge
See?
value.
Superb.
Follow Andrew and follow us. We'll put the comments. He'll be obviously commenting as always and adding huge value. And we were always appreciative and humbled that he's taken a few minutes to give us these exclusive insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, one bit of a tradition these days. We've got Bernadette here, who's giving us an update, and she always gives an update on her project. Thank you, Bernadette.
Hi Z.
Thank you.
How you
Can
doing?
I'm all right. Can you give us a bit of an update on the project?
Yes.
Because
yes.
people are loving this, so tell us.
My current development, for those of you that don't know what I've been doing so far, I bought a 3-bed house in an auction, and I have had my permitted development approved to go out by 6 metres and to build out the loft. And one of the good news, which I'd actually mentioned when we spoke last time, was that I was going for a commercial valuation.
Wow.
My lender called me yesterday to say that they've bought into my idea that yes, that the valuation should be more based on a commercial basis as opposed to a bricks and mortar valuation, which I got before. And that's because the asset manager came out because I was doing the first drawdown for the development funding, and he can see my vision. He can see what I'm doing.
Does it
got my
interrupt? Does it
plans.
cash flow? So
Oh,
on the
yes.
value, because one of the commercial values based on the cash flows from the property, and when you convert, if you're doing HMOs and things like this,
exactly.
you can value in a commercial. But then the issue people have is that increased value actually still cash flow with them, with the mortgage and the revised higher capital that you've financed out. Is that working for you?
Yeah, so the bricks, as an example, the bricks and mortar valuation came in at 725,000.
Right.
The commercial valuation is between 850 and 900,000.
Wow.
Cash flow is 91,200.
Excellent. Excellent. Straight away, my numbers in my head, that stacks.
But the most important thing is that it's not. I actually spoke to brokers and lenders to find out what their criteria were or is for obtaining a commercial valuation, and I changed my floor plans accordingly.
Wow. So the big nugget Bernadette just dropped here, which is huge. To get the commercial valuation, you must know the criteria as you're doing the development or refurb or conversion, whatever it is.
And just quickly, I can tell you
go on.
what that is. So 6 bedrooms, so each must have its own shower, toilet or ensuite.
Wow.
So I've got 4 with an ensuite, 2 off suites, so 2 separate shower toilets, double kitchen, double sink, double hob, double oven. And also in the loft, I've actually got a separate kitchenette, so there's no way this can be classed as a residential home.
Wow. So this is HMO, yeah?
When you walk
Perfect.
in, but it's going to be for corporate clients anyway, but I'll still need the license. But when you walk into the property, the valuer must be able to see that it's actually a commercial asset. And
Wow.
that's what I've done. So yesterday was great news for me. Great news.
Thank you, Bernadette, for sharing that
Thank you,
huge
Steve.
value. That's huge value, how to think about your project, how to get the value out, pull the money out, and make sure it's cash flow. Don't you love it? Gotta love Baker Street.
Love Baker Street.
Wow, what an April 2024 Baker Street. We spoke to Ranjan, Andrew, we even spoke Tom from the Midlands, Bernadette, and we saw so many entrepreneurs. ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Please do like, comment and share below and give us feedback on things you would like to see. And as you know, I always love unlocking the financial freedom stories of others so you can get to the end point in a much quicker and accelerated way. I hope you love the content. Thank you so much. Let's go.